Thanksgiving Day, Packers at the Lions. And usually the Detroit Lions are the underdogs coming into this game, and the team they're playing on Thanksgiving are usually the favorites to win. The Packers have beaten up on the Lions over the years. This year it's different as their records show a reverse trend. I'm picking the Lions at home for a change. Detroit is not a laughingstock. Nobody is making a mockery out of this team. And for obvious reasons, the Detroit Lions are favored by 7.5 after that comeback win, 12 points down with 4 minutes left, beating the Chicago Bears on Sunday. And with a win over the Packers on Thursday afternoon, they will strengthen their grip on the division lead, and they should win the division. It is theirs to win. So the Detroit Lions and the Green Bay Packers are facing off for what should be a fun and exciting matchup for the second time this season. This time in the Thanksgiving Day Classic. This time we won't be sitting around the TVs, gathering at the tables, watching a boring football game. And for what it's worth, the Lions' chances to win the division have skyrocketed. They're probably going to make the playoffs this season, no doubt about it. They're clearly going to make the playoffs. Last week, Jared Goff reverted back to his old habits, throwing 3 interceptions and leading Detroit to just 14 points through 3.5 quarters. He didn't look like the Jared Goff that we've seen all season. He looked like the Jared Goff of the LA Rams. Goff and the Lions passing offense had their worst game of the year last week, and against a pretty awful Bears defense. As for the Packers, in their deep despair, all they have is a thread of hope to hang on to. The stakes are high for the 4-6 Packers on the road in Detroit. This, folks, is a must-win for a team that's looking to make an unlikely playoff run. If they want to make a playoff run, they have to beat the Lions, and that's not an easy task. The last time the Lions and Packers faced one another, this was when the Lions season had a lot of doubt, right? And a lot of uncertainty about whether or not they were legit. If you recall, they started the season with that convincing win in Kansas City. That was a great road win for Detroit. That boosted their level of confidence. And then Detroit went home and lost to Seattle. They put up a clunker against Seattle. And then they took on Atlanta in a game that was a nail biter and that came down to the very end. And then they went on the road to Green Bay, and that's when everybody was wondering about the Packers. I like the Lions to win this game. They will win on Thanksgiving. I would be very shocked if they don't beat the Packers. Look, the Packers are ravaged with injuries. This team is banged up. I'm confident in the Lions. I place my bet on the Lions. They have 8 wins going into Thanksgiving for the first time since 1991. Their last playoff season. There's some things to be had as far as this matchup and the Packers offense versus the Lions defense. Obviously, there's going to be some windows and openings where Jordan Love throws it and makes plays in large part because of the Lions and how they like to play a lot of zone coverage. So I think Jordan Love will have a successful day. He'll be able to make plays. I can see him having a pretty solid game. This could be a very close game and come down to the last play. And Jordan Love, let's find out more about him. I think we will in this game. We will learn more about Jordan Love. Was it the Chargers defense? And I said I was giving him to November. It's November. We'll know more about Love because Love had an Aaron Rodgers kind of day against his last opponent. He was playing like an elite quarterback against the Chargers. I know it's against the Chargers defense. Jordan Love has had an up and down season. He's faced some tough pass defenses along the way, but the results have been mostly average all year. Love is absolutely uncorking the deep ball. It's a huge part of what the Green Bay Packers do offensively, but they're not highly functioning enough on the offensive side of the ball. So I'm not ready to say they're coming into a place, I'm not ready to say that they're quite there yet, because they're coming into a place where, it's going to be rockish. And honestly, I'm going to say that place is going to be electric, right? The Lions are going to beat them at home. Last week, the Bears never really stopped the Lions. It was just self-inflicted mistakes from Jared Goff. This Packers defense, they let people run on them. So I can see this turning into a track meet. This team will run on them, which will open up even more play action passes for the Lions. So the Lions, they should take care of business in this game. It's theirs to win. I think they will win it. David Montgomery, he's having a sensational year. He is running like hell out there, and I think because the Packers can't stop the run, I think he'll have himself quite a day running the football on the ground. That's all they have to do, is just run the ball down their throats, and right there, that's where the Lions will be at their best, running the football. So if you run the football, that will again open up a lot of play action plays, and I think the Lions will have themselves a day offensively. I think the Lions are the better team now. Green Bay has clearly gone into a rebuild. It's a new era for Green Bay. They don't have Aaron Rodgers as their quarterback anymore. Jordan Love is a young quarterback. He still has growing pains. He still has a lot of development to do. It's going to take time. I think the Lions will get the win. And how crazy is it that we're saying the Lions are going to actually win on Thanksgiving Day, that the Lions are the favorites?